Previously on the Gavel, a long chat was held with that awful bitch Ambassador Hi-Hun, and they learned of botched jobs in Sable and a clue or two about the limousine massacre. This week, the children are fighting, and it's up to Judge GRIMMADINE to restore sanity if indeed her own sanity is up to the test of the hourglass and the challenge coin. Further disclaimer, REXIS Revere's audio track in the first half was lost, and we had to edit around him. Bloody hell!
Bombini, you really haven't found yourself a house or anything. You don't have a lot of needs. You're a fae and kind of haunting the boat. Everyone's glad to have you. If people weren't afraid of you, they'd pat you on the back for saving so many lives, but you ride a giant bumblebee. But you actually do garner a visitor. There's somebody here to see you and SAOIRSE, actually. A naval officer says someone wants to talk to the wingers.
The wingers?
Yes.
He's back in the mess.
Hey, how's my favorite bumblebee? I heard you made quite an impression on your new friends. You didn't forget your old friend Regan, did you?
No, hi Regan.
No, your friend, she got in touch with me and she told me that you were in a bit of a spot, but that you really made a good showing of yourself. Let me see your deck.
I passed my deck over.
I went down to Applesauce, and I also have some friends in the Inquisition, and between the two of them, they saw fit to let your spellcasting cards go through. Here you are up to level 3. Just, technically, summoning the bees wasn't illegal. But if you do it now, no one will bother you. I mean, he gives you 3 cards and he takes 3 blank ones. And he said the reason we keep blanks of your cards is we take them back to the office and stamp them. So if you don't show us your cards, we can go home and pull your file instead. But it doesn't happen often. There's only one other thing you need to go get. And I can't simply get this for you. It's your flying license. You have to go take the test.
Okay.
You're an insect winger, and that's different. It's good for hovering around and, you know, nuzzling flowers, but it really is not good for soaring over the ocean. It really has a lot of trouble when the wind turns, so you might only get a provisional license. I hope that's okay.
Well, we'll see how I do on the test.
SAOIRSE, is there anything I can do for you else?
Close enough. No, I'm quite alright, thank you, sir.
You tell those creepers at the Inquisition I said hello, and don't send me any more letters. I like my job with the dealers. Documentation is what I understand. Eternal suffering is something I prefer to leave to people who live long enough to deal with it.
Oh, I avoided that life, thank you kindly.
As long as you don't bring it here.
No.
He walks off the deck. He doesn't make any noise because catfolk don't wear shoes. So, Your Honor, people will come in kind of one at a time, but right now you're communing with, they just call her mother. You know,
Okay.
there's so much it's not that I can't tell you, it's how do I make you understand?
God, what a pretentious bitch.
Have anyone ever asked you how you describe what being round is like to a playing card?
Certain things we can only truly understand if we experience them. For better or for worse.
Once you experience being round, you can't go back to being flat.
Perhaps.
If I tell you too much, instead of becoming round, you'll become sharp. I've seen it happen. I know what the coin means, I know what the hourglass means.
Coin? Hourglass?
If you ever meet a woman with an hourglass on her shoulder, you're lucky to be alive, because she knows the truth. That the hourglass will eventually take who we love from us, or us from them, be it by the plague, a stray arrow, or just being so insanely old your heart stops.
Slow decay then.
Or by having them executed in front of you with automatic weapons. Your Honor, we didn't find... Your Honor. I miss being called that. We didn't find the widow native to the boat that crashed into yours.
The widow.
Oh, fuck.
Who is the widow?
You eventually.
I'm already a widow. This is not... Forgive me. This is not exactly a new development in my life.
The widow will also have a coin, because she understands the other truth, the one the TPA understands. That every time it comes time to protect your children, a coin will be flipped. And maybe today it's heads, but that doesn't mean the bottom of the coin isn't there anymore. And there is a dimension in which you failed, and it was simple as a flip. And every time, it'll be another flip. A flip of the coin, a flip of the hourglass, until you're alone. Now, people deal with being alone differently. People who have had abusive relationships, gone to war, been forced to kill their own soldiers, and then had a bloody battle on board a yacht. They need things. They need their children, they need their husband. And when you have neither, she, like, just moving is kind of a pain in the ass to her. She pulls her sleeve and there's a faded red hourglass on her shoulder, like a black widow. And let me tell you, the path that takes you is so dark, you can only come out of it once you're finished walking it. And the blood is all over your hands, all over your mouth, all over the walls, running out of your eyes. Feet slip on it on the floor. It's an ocean. And you're on a yacht. Oh, look, your friends are here. I'm sure they have something a lot more small-minded to talk about. And she smiles at the TPA agent, kind of condescendingly. He's like, ah, yes, the children.
I smile back, and I pull her off to the side, not the older version of her.
Oh, yes, I'll have no idea what you tell her.
Clearly.
That'll work. Go ahead.
So, shit, how do I put this into words? Is
That's the problem, isn't it?
how do I, like, explain to her, like, hey,
Say that
so
in
you know
character.
how,
For real.
Say that in character. How do I tell you what I'm trying to tell you? How do I tell you?
How do I tell you what I'm trying to tell you?
As plainly as possible, Agent Master.
So, you know how we've been like running into temporal anomalies that have quote unquote time police that look like your children?
Yes, Breed.
Okay. Well, let's say there's another you, which I point at the other one like, there's another you.
The widow.
Yeah, that likes to jump from timeline to timeline and either kills your children, turning you into her, or ends up killing you, and then your children end up being time cops.
Because they're going to try to go back and fix it.
Yes, what I'm trying to say is you are time cancer.
So what do you do with cancer, Agent Ignacio?
I would cut out the part, like, we're at a point right now where none of this is getting too bad, but if we get rid of you, not you, other you.
Please, if we could refer to her as the widow, that it's a great deal easier to follow. If you would be so kind.
Yes, the widow. That one. I'm not quite comfortable with temporal aspects of hopping. I'm more of a dimension hopper.
It's alright, you're doing the best you can to explain a very complicated situation.
It's not my forte. So yeah,
It's not often that the TPA actually stops to explain what they're talking about, because no one wants to know that they're an infinite copy of in an infinite universe where you hear the mother say, you become the baddest bitch in the universe, and the universe goes and makes more universes, and it makes them until it just trails off.
Yeah, it really sucks. Like, it's bad enough when, like, you can't be the best at anything in the world, but you can't even be the best you.
yeah.
It's statistically impossible.
Oh, that's easy for you to say. You do know why you were the X Factor, right?
Because I really like Simon Cowell.
I'm the only one that gets that joke because I've peered into that dimension. Oh, good one.
I don't have to tell you. You're probably better off for not knowing.
Tell me what.
That they expected...
I'll tell her.
By all means, officer, please. With that able wit of yours that you just used to explain to the judge, please. That's the line.
Wait, did she hear all of that?
She seems to have.
Or did she already, or
Uh-oh.
did she just, know because it's the same person?
You can't tell that.
What the?
But neither would surprise you. FORPA is... If this is real, they police time and space, and the insanity it would take to do that
The insanity to even want to do that.
would take a commitment that would be unique in the multiverse.
It's ridiculous. Okay, well, there's only one hell, isn't it? That's basically what the explanation is going to be. There's only one hell, so there's only one you.
And there it is.
Well, you know what? At least there's only one mom. Oh, that's the best thing I've heard all week.
I like her outlook.
Oh, you cannot tell me anything more wonderful than the fact that my mother is the worst my mother in the whole multiverse.
Oh, I can assure you, your mother has no ability to be other than what she is.
She likes to keep her children finite in the low thousands. She just called your mom a whore. But
I know.
she did it because he is a whore, and she's insanely evil. But she values consent.
There's nothing wrong with being a whore, though. Yeah.
Nothing. You make some very good money in this town that way.
Yes, there's no value judgment.
Oh,
Yeah.
it's a fantastic diversion.
That is true. No, I think that my mother's thing is probably more so just that ordinarily the having offspring in her society is very much about giving possessions, you know, capitalistic almost. You give your possessions to your various spawns. So she's been, you know, not the best with managing her resources because she's had so many kids.
I heard hell had modernized. Blick, Rexis, you have things to report to the judge. You enter the room. The mother is there. She just sits and watches.
Your Honor? Your Honor?
Wait, does Blick report your ass to the judge?
You can just call me agent. That's what we go by. Special agent, dimensionally unique in all of the you can leave that out.
Special agent, Your Honor.
Right.
A lot of me had to live and die for me to be.
Right. So, we just finished, for the most part, talking with Ambassador Hihan. The kids are safe. Charybdis is looking a little worse for wear, but he'll live. And we got some information about the... How do I say this?
The widow?
Yeah. How did you know?
The mother has been kind enough to explain it to me. But please, by all means, make your report.
Right. So, Hihan is convinced that, was convinced that the attempt on the boat was for her until they weren't after her and said that they were more interested in you and the kids. Yeah. And oddly enough, she seemed extremely disturbed by the fact that we have nothing to report on this widow figure. Now, I have some assumptions that this is just another version of you from a different plane of existence. At least that's kind of what I assume is the case. I mean, I'm just a simple goblin. I don't have, a terribly high intelligence score.
I wouldn't tell
So it's
yourself
all
shortly.
pleasant to me.
I'm
Sorry?
out of character. Sorry.
Go ahead, man.
So out of character, I was gonna ask, where did this lady that looks exactly like our lady show up?
After the battle, both the TPA and the time cops showed up and tried to impound the boat. And when the judge got there and stopped the argument, this woman appeared, and I think a double of you appeared too, and he had a Forpa badge. And they both had Forpa badges, which is as even more mythical than the TPA, which is just as disturbing. It means that the empirical facts you go by are false.
Right.
So her being here is wrong. It's like finding the Higgs boson and finding out it's made of candy.
Wait, so is she the good one then?
She hasn't started shooting everyone in the room. You don't know what she's capable of. If the widow scared Hihan so bad, imagine you don't even know what you're talking to. She looks really old, but she's wearing, she still wears the uniform. You can question her if you want.
DM.
Yeah.
I feel it's necessary with this talk of the widow and not being able to find the widow and suddenly being confronted with an alternate version of Judge GRIMMADINE that Blick seems to get very, very uncomfortable around this woman.
That's fair.
Could I roll something to see how how he feels about her? Because frankly,
You don't have to roll for how you feel about her. If you want her to leave your boat, you can tell her to get off your boat. Now, she has, she got permission to be on the boat, but, she wouldn't be here if she didn't have, some kind of permission because you don't like when people teleport on the boat.
well, remember the first time she showed up, she was invisible to everyone but the judge.
Oh, yeah, that's right.
that was a thing.
Oh yeah, no one can see me but you. Right. Oh well, now she's here and I have to play with it. So you get the what do you want a cookie dice.
Yay!
Okay, you've earned the first what do you want a cookie die.
Yeah.
Yeah, she was invisible doll, but you see her, and she's let you see her for one reason or other. Possibly because the TPA isn't here.
Your Honor, could I have a moment, please? I feel this is necessary.
Certainly, Lieutenant. And then there's something I need to say to all of you.
So, Your Honor, we never found this individual that is being called, being labeled the Widow, and this other agent looks an awful like you, and I imagine she is you, a different time, or place, or whatever. I can't help but think perhaps maybe this is the Widow, and she's just playing it off so that she can get to your kids. It's just a passing thought.
No. It's an understandable train of thought.
Right, but that was just a passing thought.
Who's watching the kids right now?
Charybdis and my officers are watching the kids down in sick bay.
Yeah, Charybdis, when he's not in sick bay, tends to watch the kids a lot. Your middle daughter likes him a lot. She wants to learn to be a martial artist. She stopped asking you to teach her to shoot.
That's fine with me.
Hold on a second, really quick. So if she is the future of her, and we just told her that we're suspicious of future her. If future her is bad, isn't future her gonna like try and do something like before we wholly realize that she's bad, like maybe go abduct the kids right now?
You have to roll some manner of expertise on that. You'd have to understand the planes, time, or...
I guess I would have to do that.
I guess you would have to do that.
Knowledge the planes. Knowledge planes.
Then both of you roll
Knowledge
that.
planes.
Okay. I don't remember what my stats are.
While you're doing that, by the way, Judge, considering we have both Tempa here and the TPA, I feel there's a certain level of cooperation required between the two departments. And
You weren't privy to that conversation, Lieutenant Blood, but I requested strongly that the two agencies take joint jurisdiction on this and work together on the problem, because there is no other way for this to get fixed.
Right. So on that note,
Can I tell what Aaron and Moises got from their rolls?
Yeah, go ahead.
I'm about to roll. So I've got a 23 since I rolled a 14.
Okay, she's probably not really here. That's probably an illusion or some kind of measure to... That's probably not really her. 2, she's the judge's future, but not this future. She's one of her futures. She's probably from one of the many multiverses where someone, like, there were widows and mothers and some, finally, well, you'd have to ask her, but this is probably not, it's not the same. You're not looking at her future. You're looking at someone who's probably lived a lot of what Judge GRIMMADINE has, but something obviously changed to cause her to become stuck out of time enough and space to become a FORPA agent.
So what I guess I'm asking as a player is, you are not going to make this a situation where we are fucked if we commune with the judge in any fashion, because we will basically immediately tell our plans to her future self so that she can plan around them.
Instead of being deceptive, she's being obtuse. She's saying, look, I'm telling a 2-dimensional object what it's like to be 3-dimensional, and I can tell you all day. What I can't tell you is everything.
Alright. I just wanted to know if I should be heading down to the sickbay to protect the kids. It doesn't really seem like it. This is not a situation where we have just told our enemy our plan, we're cool, back to our feet.
You've heard this FORPA situation. The Inquisition is kind of like, oh, leave that alone. Gods live on other planes, and they don't like this and that, and some of these planes are altered. No, we deal with the gods that live on those planes. You can play with the sands of time and, dig in the universe all you want. Some of you ain't coming back, and we know it. And we're gonna stay here. And you would probably think FORPA's a great idea. Those 2 idiots out there bumbling around the universe, probably making things worse, finally working together. Hey, what's the worst that can happen?
So, at this point, I would like to interject. So, in regards to my commission aboard the NBV Clear Advantage, I feel with the size of the ship and with the apparent technologies that we are coming into with confiscating and retrofitting the NBNV, your ass goodbye, I feel it pertinent for us to establish a base of operations for every department that's going to be involved in the project. Primarily a department for Tempa, or even, as you had mentioned, a joint department between the TPA and Tempa.
So
I'd love to see that.
Can I interject here and say so temper doesn't isn't in a permanent state to where I can just
And there you go.
collaborate with them.
And we're already in the problem.
So
So
it's basically just gonna be me, and then every now and then somebody's gonna pop up.
right. So
He's got a point.
it's just like I feel like we have so much space, we have so many decks, we have potentially an infinite amount of space with this temporal portal thing that allows us to travel between decks. We could establish a department for these agents that don't necessarily have jurisdiction here. We could bestow upon them jurisdiction under the guise of the TPA. But that's just a suggestion, and take it as you will. But with that said, I feel that's all I felt important to mention.
No, it's a good one, Lieutenant. It's a good one. I think there's something to it.
And thus Forpa was born.
Dun, dun, dun. Anyway, if you wouldn't mind, Lieutenant, I have most of you here. I'm sorry that Brother Lenny couldn't make it, but there's something that I need to talk to all of you about since I have all of you in one space.
Yeah?
Of course.
Yours and Brother Lenny both received private letters from me regarding this, but I would like to discuss it with all of you. And she gets up and starts to walk about. We all are aware of the situation of the widow and the implications of she's trying to come and either kill me or she's going to try and come and kill my children to turn me into her. We're all aware. What I'm asking of you, as my comrades and dare I say it, as my friends, if it comes to pass that my children are taken from me before their time, do not let me fall to that fate. Do not let me become the widow. If you see it happening before your eyes, by the gods, I charge you to shoot me on sight. Put a crossbow bolt between my eyes, because I will not continue that madness.
I will.
Good.
Thank you, Rose.
Yep.
Thank you.
Blick says nothing.
Nothing would give me greater joy than to avoid that fate altogether. But if it comes to pass, the cycle cannot be allowed to continue.
Of course. How so? By moving them to another timeline, or?
Yes,
Oh,
ma'am?
excuse me, my old throat. It happens to choke up whenever people are...
Your old throat as opposed to the new one you got in your back pocket? That sounded so weird.
To which plane did you hope to move her instead? And would she be safer there? Oh, I was just asking.
Well, I mean,
What do I know?
Nobody's gonna bother her at my mother's house, that's for certain.
Wait, what did you say?
No one would bother her at my mother's house.
She gets this look. Tell me about your mother.
Oh shit.
Please don't.
The demons that your people speak of at night, she's the one they talk about. She's where the nightmares come from.
I don't.
Could work.
Give me the heebie-jeebies.
But a last resort. But it's crazy enough to work. I'm looking at it now, and I see the lines that go through that house become tantalizingly blurred.
Rather spider-webbed, actually, one might say.
Like chance comes back into the equation. Oh, this boat is full of spiders. Quite full of spiders. This city is full of spiders. Some of them are very nice.
Out of character, I think you may have said that her mother was Lolf at some point before.
Your mother?
I don't know. Who did?
No.
Okay.
I mean, I thought that I left that entirely in your hands. Loth is not a succubus to my knowledge.
Her mother is Nocticula, who is but just for other player and I don't know anybody else who in Pathfinder, Nocticula is redeemed, and in our timeline, she's not redeemed yet. She's still, like, full evil. So, I haven't decided if we're going to do redemption for her, if we're going to leave her evil. It's kind of going to be something that is weaved into our role play, and that's kind of how I wanted to play it. But that is who Eurus's mother is. Your characters would probably know that. They may not know what that means unless they've looked into former demon lords.
Monty has said that he is fairly sure that it is inevitable that you will confront your mother. He also says that by his calculations, you will not do it alone.
Yeah, I'm not an idiot. Or Eurus is an idiot.
Now, why you're going to confront your mother, that's up in the air.
Now, may I also point out that in previous...
Roll to point out. Roll your pointing out skill. What is it? How many points did you put in it? What's your rolling stat? You have strength, dexterity, constitution, and rolling. It's how well you roll down stairs and tables and chairs.
It's a dexterity
Okay.
stat. Thank you very much. As it is.
Roll your dexterity to talk.
Okay.
How many skill points did the DM
that
put in
is-
Dickhead
that is
today?
4 plus 4.
All of them!
A total of 8.
You pass.
Outstanding. May I remind everyone that this idea of removing somebody from the timeline has been brought up before. We've had previous interactions with agents of Tempa Tempa or hostile agents of what may have been Tempa Tempa, and we've had a mentioning of a 250,000 Northbeach crossbow designed specifically to remove somebody from the timeline. This is not a new...
Oh, a spudger. You found a spudger.
It came up initially in one of our court cases, and then was mentioned again. I believe I was debriefed on that in proceedings of the Sable case.
Well, that's a spudger. Your government will know what to do with that. They're going to put that away. The temper knows what to do with those too. If you ever find a spudger, well, you keep it away from the person it's meant for. That's what you do. There's a tool that is designed to separate a part that is not bolted down but glued, and it separates. It lifts things out. It pops things loose, and a spudger is a crossbow you use to pop someone loose from reality and time.
Can these
So
be
if-
used in a non-lethal way?
I suppose you could use it as a paperweight or a doorstop, or, use it for target practice on planets, but peaceful.
So-
I suppose if you broke it down and used it to make the wood and make something into paper and used it to wipe your ass.
Could... You're funny.
Thank you. The judge has a great sense of humor when she allows herself to. It lets her get distracted sometimes, especially when someone insults her mother. You will never forgive yourself for that. You will never, ever forgive yourself for that. And you know what the worst part is, ladies and gentlemen? Is that she still thinks it's funny. I sure do. That was so clever. I was totally blown away. There were the Durrells insulting my mother. It was so funny.
I mean, what else would they do?
Distract me from an oncoming boat. That was clever too. I laugh about that, but not what followed. It didn't go as well for me.
You seem very intimately intertwined with our reality and plane, our timeline.
If you break down, look at all the infinite versions a person could be, the ones that stand out are uniquely angelic or terrible. The worst of her and the best of her, I wish we could go around cherry picking the ones that hadn't lost their children.
I guess what I'm trying to get at is you seem very specifically intimate with our situation.
Yes, it's happening here next.
Can you please remind me, who the hell are you?
Who am I indeed? Who am I? Really? I have a badge that has a number you've never heard of, or an agency that doesn't exist. I am clearly an imposter of this woman, or a relative of hers pretending to be her. You should throw me off your ship. I have absolutely no reason to be here. I am no one. No one at all. You have no reason to believe anything that I have to tell you. Of course, what would a card want to know about being a ball?
Your condescending attitude is very flattering.
You don't know what I've seen?
My gut is telling me something, and I'm usually inclined to trust it. So,
You can go either way, though. In some of these chapters, you're a footnote, but in some of them, you just certainly didn't last long in the NBNV or your ass goodbye, but on this one, you're now in charge of a battleship. If it doesn't go to your little head, you might go down in history. You're not the only goblin who's ever captained a ship. Are you going to be the one who does it? Makes them say, do you remember the goblin that captained a ship? Which one do you mean? Which one could I mean? Blick Felky.
the greatest one ever. I want to be just like him. I want to get out of your ass.
Flattery is a wonderful thing, but it will get you nowhere with me.
Oh, I know. I have nowhere to go with you. I'm just having a conversation. No matter where I talk with you, we're only going to end up right here. Now, the judge needs you. This woman you're talking to is not the widow you're talking about. But goddammit, she does know where the widow is. I know what 6 dimensions look like, but I can't draw it for you.
It's just a description.
Oh, you know all about distractions, wouldn't you? What do you mean by here?
In this time.
She actually kind of scratches the back of her neck.
I'm gonna call over my new first mate, Tiberius Kirkwood.
Yes.
That's
Yes.
brilliant.
Oh, that's brilliant. Oh, I want to know what his family crest looks like. The Kirkwood family
She takes
crest.
a challenge coin out of her pocket. And that's something you have in the military where if you're at the bar, if you drop the challenge coin on the bar and none of the other plebs have the challenge coin, they have to buy you a beer. So she pulls out a Section 9 challenge coin and she just looks you straight in the eye as if to answer the question you just asked. And she flips it in the air and it lands on the floor on its edge. And she picks it up again and she flips it again and it lands on the floor on its edge.
Grim is having a panic attack.
She picks it up
watching this.
again, she flips it again, and it lands again on its edge.
Stop that.
Is she here? Is she not here?
Put that away.
Is she in this time? Is she not in this time? Yes. No. Heads. Tails. Both. Neither. You need to begin to understand. Are you sure you want to see this, Sorsha?
Do I have a choice?
Oh, you do. You can walk away and never have to see this. It would leave you terribly unprepared, but maybe it would let you have your life back.
There is no life back after that. When you're being told that an extra planar version of yourself is hunting you and your children and will stop at nothing to cause you to go insane or become evil, however we want to look at it.
Your sanity must become pliant. Madness isn't what you think it is, but sanity might not be what you think it is either.
Tiberius, check on the kids.
I will, sir. I will immediately go check on those kids. Nothing will happen then while I'm
Oh no.
on my way to.
I just
Go
got
see
that fucking.
Yes.
Ugh.
Yes. Yeah.
I just
Oh
got
my
it.
God.
Ugh, fuck.
I'm
Fuck.
so disappointed, dude.
Captain, I have just returned from looking at the kids. They are drawing on pieces of paper.
Are they living long and prospering?
Outstanding. Thank you, Jim.
Sir, yes, sir.
That's all that matters.
Are you sure you want to see this? Because if you do, they all have to see it. But it's you who might change direction if you see it.
I move forward to where she is standing and I put my hand supportively on her right shoulder.
Pat, pat, pat. Thank you, my friend.
You hear kind of an argument approaching, but it's running footsteps. It's 2 TPA agents and 2 time cops, and they're almost like slapping at each other. They remind you of their kids, and they walk in and they see the mother and like, oh no, not you. You found her, didn't you? Not that you need to know, but yeah. Oh, I need to know. Why do you need to know? And she just kind of reaches into her breastplate and pulls out a black rectangle. And she unfolds it. And she unfolds it. And she unfolds it. And she unfolds it. And it gets longer and bigger until you realize you're looking at a spudger. Yes, you do need me. Let's go.
Wait, who is this?
The mother just unfolded a just pulled a spudger out of her jacket.
Summon weapon. Immediately summon weapon.
You're going to need that. Are you ready to go?
Wait.
Oh?
What is happening right now?
Hold on.
Maybe the children should stay here while the adults go.
Hold on.
Judge.
Go.
Hold on.
Where?
I think it's time to figure this out.
Hold
I think
on.
you're having people equivocate, and I think you can't have that.
12 for 15 on sense motive.
This person has no problem leaving you behind, and if you point that thing at her, she looks like it's a Nerf gun.
Will we be coming back to this plane when you are done showing us what we will see?
By your standards, the answer to that question is yes, we are coming home.
No, that isn't what I asked. I said, are we coming back here? To this time, this plane of existence, right here.
The answer to the question you're asking is yes. You are coming back to this plane right back to this room. But you're going to see something that comes from something that's not on this plane and not in this room. And so what you come back as is up to you.
All right.
That's what we're going to go see. The question is, do we want to do it now, or do you want to wait till she finds you?
Show me what you need to show me.
We're going to the NBNV or Askabai.
Should we be considering a life insurance policy of sorts?
We should already have one.
You should already be considering that. You don't have a replacement. Your mother would be very upset. You should bring your weapons because, while perhaps
Tell me something that doesn't turn me on.
there might be monsters aboard that boat that we need to deal with as well. And so you should bring your weapons because...
Oh, weapons. Ugh, gross.
Yeah, I find that revolting too. Anyway,
Yeah.
do
Okay.
you want me to go on? I'm afraid I could do it.
No.
No, we're going to the boat. We're going to the impounded boat. The TPA guy looks at the time cop and glares at her and goes, yeah, we searched it, and she wasn't there, and then she was.
Yes, her. Let's go.
We sealed the room off. She lets you lead. She walks very slowly, as if she knows time is on her side. And there's a gangway to this smack. Like, every window on both boats was destroyed. And you know that if you listen to the podcast, because I broke every window that's physically possible with the sound effects. And you get there, and there are body bags, lots of them. And they seem to have color-coded tags. They have codes on them you don't recognize, except the TPA guy does. That's what dimension these people are from. And there are body bags that aren't quite full because there are children in them, and you have to walk by those on the way to the quote-unquote the planervator. The planervator has not been removed from the boat. The planervator does not go up and down. You push the button, and it opens on the floor you want to go to.
Oh, is the
No,
bottom floor
it's-
Mom's house?
No, the bottom floor is the prison plane.
Yeah, it's Carcery. Carcery was on level 9, right?
No, it
Was it
was
12?
it was deck 12.
Yeah, deck
It was
12,
the,
right.
It was the last. Yeah, it was the last one. Although I'm not sure if that will remain the case when we move it to the NBV Clear Advantage, because there's clearly more decks on the NBV Clear Advantage than on the Your Ass Goodbye. In a future episode, find out how many buttons are on the new Clear Advantage Planervator.
Yes.
And so, like,
Indeed. We could make a picture for somebody.
it's on 3, isn't it? Yeah, it's on 3. How'd you know? Is it with 3 kids? She hits you like, she just kind of, you know what the cop knock is? It's where you knock with the meat of your hand. She just kind of walks up and punches the button, and the door opens, and everyone recoils back and they load crossbows. She's sitting right in the doorway, her back to all of you, and she's leaning forward, and she's cradling something. Mommy's here. Mommy's here. Mommy's here. Mommy's here. Mommy's here. Mother turns to Judge Grimmadine and throws her the spudger. Do it. Mommy's here. Mommy's here. Mommy's here. Mommy's here.
Ah!
I think you have about 45 seconds. Mommy's here. Mommy's here this time. Mommy's gonna be here every time. Mommy's here. She's not cradling an infant, Judge. She's cradling a spudger. Mommy's here. Mommy's here.
What?
Can I,
Mommy's here.
No,
Mommy's here. Mommy's here.
I'm gonna do something to shoot her.
The spudger is a crossbow. Shoot the fucking spudger.
It doesn't leave a wound. It doesn't splatter her brains. It doesn't even recoil. The crossbow goes. It flies through her head. It flies through the wall of whatever chamber that is, and off into the multiverse. And she just falls over dead like a heap. The crossbow crashes on the ground. You just shot a widow. There's a multiverse full of them. Welcome to your life. Welcome to being a ball when you were born a card. Do you want to go home now, or do you want to stay and see the sights?
I just put her to lie down, and she passes out.
And we'll pick up from there next time. Thank you for playing.
And now for a brief intermission. What do you call a catfolk that can't locate his sandbox? Illiterate. How many catfolk does it take to stop a cannonball? I don't know, he ran out at about 9ish. What do you call a catfolk buried up to his neck in kitty litter and cat shit? Not enough cat shit. Eat your heart out and break your teeth on it, Regan.
All right,
Gosh, yeah.
we're live. I'm Dr. Never. with our producer Aaron Moriarty playing Eurus.
Hello.
And we have everyone here except the judge, and we're just sitting here, and I'm probably going to cut all of this anyway, but how the hell is everyone?
I'm alive.
I'm well, man. Well, I mean, I got an impinged nerve in my back, but, you know, I'll tell the lie.
This is me talking for the sake of synchronizing audio tracks for shit later.
You should go like
Because
1, 2, 3, snap.
Issues.
1, 2, 3, snap. 1, 2, 3, snap. And that way, when Jay matches this up, he'll see the peaks on both. And he can
Yeah, we
see
should be
that.
doing-
Literally,
See,
you
here's-
just have
here's
to
the- here's
select
the
both
funny
tracks
part.
and say synchronize. Adobe does it themselves. It's not a
Oh,
program.
because y'all have a real editor. Okay.
I've been
Well,
doing it
so
manually.
I've been recording.
Why? You're an idiot then.
I've been recording now for 10 minutes. I've been recording now for 10 minutes.
Well, I can swing into
and-
something.
This recording is only 1 minute long.
Okay.
It's fine.
It's
It's fine. Just get started. Come on.
So you guys remember that a couple episodes ago we had a musical sponsor in the form of Creative Forge Games from Poland, who made Phantom Doctrine, and we used some of their music in one of the episodes. Some of you have listened to it, some of you haven't. I say that because I have to tell you this. I sent out another round of emails to a bunch of other developers I really like that have music I wish I could use. And New Blood Interactive, who has several insane titles to their name like Maximum Action, Dusk, Amid Evil, and Faith, said that we could use some music from Maximum Action, so your next shootout is going to be courtesy of New Blood Interactive and Maximum Action, which is available
Super cool.
which is available in early access.
Super fucking cool.
It just came out with a new level. It's super cool, yeah. So we actually have someone taking us seriously, which is hilarious to me. The other thing I wanted to bring up that we seem to have, this game seems to have something that a lot of other games kind of fail to get, and I don't know what it is, what the phenomena is with this game, but we have a lot of in-jokes. Like, I can't say the word damn it to any of you without somebody making a wisecrack about Northbeach drug enforcement. I have no idea what outsiders think of this.
Yeah, I have to wonder, is there, like, there has to be some damn it agent named Janet.
Oh, of course.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Absolutely.
in Northbeach, absolutely. It would be a huge missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Much in the same way that my new first mate is named Tiberius Kirkwood. I thought that was fucking hilarious.
What would Kirkwood do? I kind of almost
Would
wished you would have named him
would do.
Kirkland because of the freaking Costco joke. I think that'd be
Right.
hysterical.
I imagine him as an extremely competent officer and soldier, but otherwise an idiot. Like, he's like I imagine him as kind of like Soldier from Team Fortress 2, or did you ever see Muppet Treasure Island? It's actually a really good movie. I watched it a trillion times as a kid, but it was also just a really good movie. And in it, Captain Smollett is played by Kermit, and the first mate is played by Errol. And Errol takes his job way too seriously and keeps saying stuff like, "Anyone caught dawdling will be shot on sight." And Kermit keeps turning around going, "I didn't say that, Mr. Errol. I was just paraphrasing. Just set the sail. Set the sail!" And he's 10 times as dramatic as he has to be. Kirkwood's parade drilling is perfect. Like, the guy's like the Brian Boitano of, I don't know if you've seen some of the shit that the Marines do with the rifle flipping.
Oh, yeah.
and,
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Silent
you
drill
know,
team.
the
Oh yeah.
Silent drill. Yeah, okay. Silent drill team is a thing in North Beach, and they do it a lot in the Navy. Most. The Army is a bit too.
I can't imagine how you would do that though without rifles. Like, doing it with crossbows seems like it's a bit of a.
That's where you start using your melee weapons. Well, crossbows are not good for that, but now we have started having limbless crossbows.
That's true. That's
Also, you guys use spear guns. They're a little different. You could probably rifle drill with a spear gun.
I think I would see that more too with like a pole arm and or their sword.
Let me make a quick other segue about, a quick other side note about spear guns. We keep talking about them, and I looked up. I'm like, oh, I probably have no idea what they're really capable of. I said repeating spear gun. That's probably doesn't exist. Oh, look, yes, it does. And then I started to see like a trend in
spear
Yeah.
guns. And spear guns tend to be like really huge. A tuna spearfishing spear gun unloaded is taller than the model holding it in a picture I posted on the Discord. So they're packing some serious hardware down in Ocean City and on the boat, and they'll happily tell you, we're just as eager to kill each other down there as you are up here. We just have to deal with the physics a little differently, and repeating spear guns do exist, and harpoon launchers are basically the order of the day from Ocean City. You're talking about like large projectiles, like archery arrows on land, and a lot more. They probably have repeating ones now, but there's good ones are serious like knockback hardware.
Where's the point here, sweetie? I'm not sure how we're getting into the episode from here.
I'm talking about what's possible. So what your guys are probably doing in their rifle drills is holding these gigantic harpoon guns and throwing and tossing them without killing each other.
Okay, but are we doing
Outstanding.
that right now, or what?
No, we're talking about Kirkwood and I said he's good at the rifle drilling silent drill team, but how do we do that? Oh, well, because we use spear guns in the Navy, and those don't have any limbs and they won't get caught up, and one of the goes off, we know exactly who did it. There was something I was going to do after court, and we can do it before instead, since everyone else is here. You're going to have to deal with Hathrick. Rexis, you were...
Yeah, I think I mentioned that.
Rexis, you were smooth popping him out of the normal legal sphere, but now you're talking about... The problem is he turned himself in and pled guilty.
Yeah, well, the problem is he killed a criminal. He didn't kill an agent, as far as I'm concerned.
There's two ways to deal with this. You can either say he was judge, jury, and executioner and killed a guy in cold blood to save his family nonetheless, but there must be reprisal for the act. And the other way of thinking about it is she can pardon anyone she feels like any time. She can shoot someone in court if she wants to.
I would say this was self-defense, honestly.
He hasn't been sentenced. He's still,
I witnessed it, so...
You can't keep him in the brig forever, so you're gonna have to,
Oh, no, I agree.
You have to talk to him or talk to someone about him and get him popped loose, and it's not gonna be Judge GRIMMADINE right now. You can let it go to trial and fight it out.
I'm not going... Personally, I don't see any reason to charge him. It was self-defense, and he was, doing his duty as an officer, and he was a corrupt officer.
Totally legit.
Fighting. This happens in real life.
If you present that case on record, it might put a nice little bow on it, but, there's going to be somebody with a problem with what you're going to do with Hathrick after that is kind of up in the air.
So what I would recommend in this instance is his disciplinary action he will be reassigned to the Clear Advantage
to the boat
on probationary orders so that he can be watched and monitored. In the meantime...
Oh yeah, he probably would get stuck with desk work, wouldn't he? I hadn't thought about that.
And in the meantime, he will be assigned to infirmary duty and to security, as those are both things in which he is proficient.
Yeah, and we're also going to have to do an investigation of the rest of his unit and Damon to make sure that none of the rest of them were involved. But
well, of course, but for
theoretically, Gillivanter's whole retinue knew and is now somewhere in Sable.
Yeah,
if you want to go persecute them, you're going to have to go into Sable, but that's fine. You now have support structures in Sable, at least rudimentary ones. That's what you want to pursue.
Yeah, so I think that would be the best case, is maybe we do take it briefly to court just to present our findings to the judge and have her sign off on it, because somebody's going to need to sign off on it since officers of the law did die.
Okay, you can do that out of court. You can tell her what you told me when she gets here and ask her to sign off on it. If she signs off on it, that would release Harker Hathrick into somewhat menial duties on the boat for his station, but that's penal duty, and you can do your interrogations off book, or you can never do another interrogation. It's I guess up to you. So that would put his soul firmly in the judge's hands.
I mean, this is a...
And with that,
which is better than having it elsewhere, but you haven't taken this up with him, so you're not sure how he'll react.
I mean, otherwise he was going to be stuck on a year or two of, desk work anyway. That's what happens in real life.
But he has kids, so he'll probably take that over a prison boat.
And this is a matter for internal affairs, which is something that REXIS is partly responsible for.
The fact that he's signing off on this means that the state has signed off on this. This is a situation that happens in a lot of spy movies. You're too useful to go to jail. You work for us now, so...
Yeah, and also, I mean, it does happen where police officers end up killing police officers.
Yeah, what's really going on is now Harker's on the hook for the feds, which is perhaps a better fit for his talents, but maybe not his attitude. But that may not matter. That's working an asset is a whole nother thing. It depends on what you make him do. Now, what he is the most reprehensible thing that he is willing to do is interrogate somebody. So if you ask him to transgress more, like the certain things he might be hard to wrangle, but if you bring someone like, hey,
I won't be asking him to do anything.
get this guy to talk for us, get this guy's information, would you? He'll be like, oh, how mean you want me to be? And
How does anybody else particularly feel about this? Does anybody else have a connection to Hathrick that may have to say?
We should probably talk to Hathrick about this
situation.
you can roleplay with
besides the
Hathrick while we wait for the judge.
Right, but those Damon agents, we could reasonably assume that those Damon agents were working for Gillibanta and thus not in the interests of the people.
There are going to be damned agents that will kill Harker Hathrick if he ever goes into Sable again. There are agents that would die to protect him.
Crusades aren't necessarily...
Cleaning up Dammit as an agency could be a crusade you go on, but it would take all of you. You couldn't roll a dice and then persecute all the problems in their department. If you really wanted to clean up their agency, you could do it. Before this series began, you pursued a crusade and
It's something we'll look into.
we had to skip to the end, so but you would have completed it. I mean, I don't like perpetual crusade. We had this guy who ran this game who, no matter what we did, kept moving the goal line back on the same guy for like a year. And one of our characters kind of resigned his in-character position in protest. It was a lesson that, you have to let him get the cookie at the end. I have to sit here and wait to know what cookie you guys really want to go after, because I could write all day and you guys could decide to glom on to some side character and completely change the course of their, development.
Yeah, isn't that the normal for the DM?
Oh, yeah.
No matter what you write, we'll choose something else.
That's why I wrote the setting and not...
Yeah, and now that I think about it, it's okay, so currently, we have a target to go after. Technically, we have two. Most immediately, we have the War Priest to go after, who's a physical target that we don't know the identity of, but we know that he's somewhere in Sable, and that he's getting people together here and now. We have the Widow, or many widows, that we need to, transcend time and potentially space.
Yeah, I never I'm gonna see a movie about it once.
We have this missing operative from Undertown that we need to go identify and figure out what the hell's happening with her. And then we also have to go through the process of getting the boat refit. So we have a lot to do. A lot of things that we know we have to do. I'm sure this.
All right, so you're going to have to convince the judge what to do with Harker, and then you're going to have to convince her that that's what her retinue has to go take care of. And convincing her to go get a 20,000 North Buck piece of equipment is probably going to be pretty easy to sell her on.
Yeah, so that's logical. What we'll do in the meantime, I think we should suspend all those damage agents that are currently in Sable, take away their legal protections, and if they don't report back, we can just, blow their covers, and they can deal with it. They're on their own.
Well, that sounds like an awful creative way.
You would have to talk to Harker about that, but his post would probably be replaced. The thing is, he doesn't have power in Dammit anymore, so he would be talking to someone else who I haven't made up yet. I mean, if you really...
I'm not really giving them a choice.
I mean,
it's
you
internal
didn't
affairs.
necessarily need to admit that, DM. I'm just saying.
I can cut it. I'm also the editor. I don't give a rat's ass.
Fucking flies, man.
He couldn't have thought of
Fucking
everything.
flies.
Yeah, let's talk. Let's roleplay a little bit. We'll talk to Hathrick real quick. I'll catch him up to what's going on.
Hey.
I'll release him from his cell for now, pending that's he's reassigned.
We'll
to
say
the ship.
he's been confined to quarters, and on a ship that's like this big.
Hey, Hathrick.
He's still cuffed. He's like sitting on. He's like.
Let's take the cuffs off him, boys. That's not necessary.
Sweet, yeah.
So I saw what happened. So that kind of makes the whole internal affairs thing pretty smooth for you. Unfortunately, you know what happens when somebody ends up eliminating fellow law enforcement. I'm not going to stick you on desk work for the next 2 to 3 years while we do an official inquiry and look into all the rest of the damage agents in your unit. However, I am going to reassign you to the boat with us. Going to take you on as adjutant under the feds. Don't know what work I have for you yet, but you'll be working under the judge directly. That should make things smoother for you and the kids, I would think.
What do they call it? A Hobson's choice?
I mean, if you want to go back into Dammit without us cleaning up the agency yet and take a risk with your own life, I'm willing to listen to it. I just don't think it's wise.
They didn't look out for me.
Well, good. We're glad to have you aboard. We're going to stick you mostly on infirmary and security duty for now. I can't take credit for that. Lieutenant Gabo thought that one up. Captain Gabo, sorry. And, well, damn, he's full of creative ideas for you. That said, I am going to suspend all of the Dammit agents that are currently operating in Sable until the internal affairs inquiry is cleared up. I don't think any of them could be relied upon. If they don't come back in, I'm planning to release their identities. So, hopefully, they take the easy way out.
You can do that if you want to. I don't think the problem will be that simple.
I'm not expecting to win any fans. However, with the judge taking this large of an action in Sable to try and clean it up, it would be remiss of me to leave federal agents in there that may be working against law and order.
You're going to be working on a bit of a puzzle.
Well, that's why I have you.
The headquarters of Dangerous Alchemy Agency is ostensibly in Sable.
Well, of course, I'm not suspending.
Yeah, the exact real estate of it moves around. We're not the only NPC agency that does this. But there are no agents technically assigned to Sable because Sable is technically Bridge.
Well, anyone that was directly in Gillivanter's unit is going to be suspended.
That you can do. You can take his unit down. I can name names on that, but...
Let's do that. Let's start with that. And then what I'm going to try and task you with, since I can't do this all myself, is I'm going to need you to start drawing up dossiers on anyone who would have likely had to known if he was going to do something of this size.
So you're going to bring my kids into your protection on this boat too, which will draw more attention to it.
Yes.
Right.
Well, I mean, I've got to protect you. Not so worried about myself. I seem to be making enemies left and right.
Well, all right. I can help you persecute, corruption in Dammit if you want to put your shoulder into it, but there will be people who do not like the idea of the status quo shifting under them again. You made quite a stir when you went through the first time. Things are changing. It's actually really nice out there now. I hear the Lodge went in there and put some moss all over it. It's all cottage core now, back like it used to be. The constant rain will keep it. The constant rain will keep it good.
Yeah, I hear they demonstrated. Patrick, are you okay with this? Is this fine? I'm not asking too much of you.
When I killed Gillivanter with a syringe that I threw at him into his eye on purpose because I knew it would take the fastest and make his head explode, I knew that I was protecting my kids from him, whatever the cost to me, and that's my job. You've determined the cost is that I have to stay on this boat and pester my kids to play big bat with me all the time. It's a choice I'm obligated to accept. You could put me in a lot worse position if you wanted. You could have just disposed of me. And these assholes exploding fireworks outside my window out here. Motherfuckers.
Well, Hathrick, you're an asset, and I've known you for quite a while. I don't see how we could turn our back on you after you ostensibly went through one of the most difficult things a federal agent can. You had to kill one of your own.
What I should have done was trusted the judge and taken her into confidence and told her, hey, I have kids and they're in danger. And instead, I decided that I could knife him in the dark, and it became such a big production that, well, it's one of those good old Northbeach fiascos.
I saw you acting in self-defense. It's not like Gillivanter was going to let you go, Hathrick.
Well, there's two ways of thinking about it. One, I have to answer for the life I took. Two, fuck it, she does whatever she wants. She can write a white card and get me out and say I can do what I want, but we're not going to...
Well, yeah, see, now you're paying with more responsibility. You're getting a promotion out of it. Doesn't that make sense?
You better be real careful. You're going to get a string of crimes committed by people who want jobs.
Well, if they're willing to turn in the time cleaning up Northbeach, we'll find a spot for them.
Did I miss anything?
Nope, not important. Not anything major. Just a little bit of soft role play between Hathrick and Rexis at this point.
Okay.
So, Hathrick, I'm going to have you report directly to the captain. He's now going to be your overseeing officer, as the judge is basically overseeing everyone else here, but it's his boat. I want to funnel everything through him appropriately so he understands that there's a certain level of respect here. If you need anything, let him or I know. I've directly included him in the ongoing internal affairs of the departments of Northbeach, as he's shown quite a proficiency for navigating the difficult landscape that us law enforcement officers have here. If not a bit direct, I appreciate his style, let's say.
What's your style? I think that we both know that there was no documentation supporting an open investigation involving me that you needed to oversee before my case was tried.
Well, I'm planning on having the judge sign off on your conditional release. I don't see any reason for you to go through an actual hearing and have your children brought into court to have to see that. That's my personal stance.
And I think in your professional stance, I'm an interrogator and still of use to you, and some of the things you ask me to do are things that you would personally find distasteful.
I don't like to have to do the job I have to do all the time. However, whatever is required of me, I do. And I expect the same professionalism from you.
As long as you understand I deal in needles and not beakers.
We have an understanding. I won't ask you to do anything I wouldn't be comfortable with doing myself.
I didn't choose my talent.
Well, and Rexis puts out his hand to shake Hathrick's. Then let's consider you released.
He looks at your hand for a moment as if considering what this will entail going forward. You were honest enough with him. He shakes your hand eventually. He says, I hope our work is in service to keeping it all from falling down.
Well, that's always been my goal. I may not be the most experienced agent yet, but I'm hoping that my head for the betterment of everyone in Northbeach leads me down the correct path.
Well, you might be dealing with stuff that even I don't understand.
This whole time-dimensional hopping thing, I admit, it's a bit much even for me. I'll be leaning on many of you for your expertise.
Well, I'll need a bigger quarters, but I'll probably take up with Monty in whatever giant space he has taken over.
Of course.
He's probably infesting some part of the ship with his commissary and his various whales.
Search for the alcohol. I'm sure you'll find him.
Well, pleasure doing business with you. If you need anything, let me know.
Thank you, Hathrick. I will be in touch, of course. Since you're going to be here, I'm going to be putting you to work.
Just make sure you know what you're asking when you ask for me. And could you ask this motherfucker to stop playing with fireworks outside my house?
I'll see what I can do. Alright, so Rexis will leave and he'll head off to Eurus's. Where Eurus, do you have like an office aboard the boat now, I assume?
I would assume that I have some sort of perfunctory quarters above the or aboard the ship. I tend to be.
You would have more than that.
Yeah, but I tend to be more the planar sort. Like, so I have.
So
a
you have a level on the planervator?
I probably I probably have like a portal to something warm. I just wonder, like, I think that my idea of like good is probably significantly hotter than basically everyone on the ship.
Fire and
I'm
brimstone.
thinking there's someplace like a nice rock that I go and sun myself on, like a lizard sometimes through a portal, and that's kind of where I do like my meditation and my other like witchly preparatory type dealios.
Yeah, but it was the captain's intention that every office on board the ship that was involved in the judge's cadre have their own office. And you're the Inquisitor General, which means you'd have an office with a desk, and you might have someone that they have to get through to talk to
I
you.
have a whole desk, an entire desk, not just half a desk, a physical desk.
If it's in one of these, pseudo-dimensional levels of this ship, it might be one of those really huge desks from hell, like in the parts of hell that are insanely bureaucratic and lawful.
I have a picture of that desk from The Devil's Advocate. Like, the one with Al Pacino at the end where the chick was like, on it.
Yes,
That desk.
I like that desk. That is the desk that Eurus has. She has the Devil's Advocate desk.
Okay. Oh,
So,
Eurus,
Yes.
while you're here, there's something I wanted.
Hi.
So you walk into your new office.
What does it smell like?
There's a giant what does it smell like? It's
Think very carefully, because this is really important. What is it? That's so cliche. I'm not that type of girl.
no, that doesn't smell
You
very
can
good.
have anything you want.
Fire and brimstone with a hint
Which,
of lemon.
By the way, my audio channel is picking up fireworks today too. Everyone, we are recording on July 4th weekend, so there's just going to be extra sound effects this episode. Sorry.
Your office smells like
Yeah.
lilac and honey.
What
Ooh.
about like you know like the Hawaiian like air fresheners they sell, but like it's like the smell is on top of like sulfur and brimstone.
It smells
See, I
like
was thinking
somebody took
patchouli.
a really sulfuric fart and then tried to cover it up with the shittiest aerosol spray possible. Yeah.
I mean,
That's why I
like
think of patchouli.
that's all I can
'Cause-
think of. Honestly, I'm sorry.
I think Mary did the best. I would probably do lavender and honey. I actually made lavender lemonade today. I'm kind of a whore for that stuff. Anyway,
Fancy.
yes, my lavender honey office with the Devil's Advocate's desk, and I have a chair that looks uncomfortable, and it is uncomfortable to anybody who is not me.
Because it's for someone who has wings.
Yeah,
And-
I can't imagine that I would sit in a normal chair with like wings.
The room is set up so you can sit at the chair with your wings spread out completely, entirely, like showing your tattoos.
Oh, can I have like a huge window behind me that I can just like sun my wings, like come out? Because I imagine myself getting out of the shower. I'm nice and wet. And
Oh
I just
my
spread
God.
my wings, and I'm just naked, and I dry out in the sun.
That's
perfect.
that
Yeah, that's
sounds
like
like
great for
how a
REXIS.
succubus would work at an
That is
office.
exactly my life. So the existence
So-
of I did not want an assistant. The only reason I have an assistant.
Oh
is
no, I have
to
something
warn
else
me
for
to
you.
get clothed before people come in my office.
Before we tell you about who your assistant is,
Oh, God.
who is your patron as a witch? Is it your mother, or do you have some other entity from which you draw your power?
We didn't decide if Mom was a deity yet, or if part of this campaign was going to be getting Mom to be a deity, so I can't answer that question.
She can be a demigod, like most like demons. She's Lord of the Xth. Like there's some circle or some. She's succubi,
Like a-
I think. Or
My
Like a
mother's
lesser god, right?
ridiculously- She's like ridiculously high level. Like even if she's not a god, she would be like level 35, like succubus, demigod.
I'm sure that our
pretty much.
listeners are frothing at the mouth, saying, "No, devils are lawful, demons are chaotic and insane." And I'm like,
No. I
"Eh."
do not have an alignment because people
No.
cannot be simplified down into alignments. So
But what's your mother like? So, like, do you gain your power from
mean,
your
she's-
mother, or do
yeah,
you?
I would say so. Because
Okay.
I would think that if I didn't get my power from my mother, that I wouldn't listen to her at all, or I wouldn't care what she says at all because she wouldn't have power over me. So I think she has to be the source of my power, or she has no sort of power over me because my deity would have power over me.
Okay,
See
she's
what
your
I'm saying?
patron.
Yeah.
The biggest surprise of your life is that she continues to give you power despite flying in the face of her expectations.
And I have no idea why. That scares the shit out of me.
Well, you would, if you had to guess, it might be because she doesn't want you scurrying to someone else and then coming back to her doorstep rattling a saber. And so you finally get this office and you walk into it for the first time, and there is a gigantic desk, a big, like, dark purple red cushy chair, fresh stationery, black and red ink, and closer to the door is a
Blood
much
ink.
smaller desk.
Let's not be trifling. It's blood,
Blood
ink.
ink. Yeah,
Thank you.
it's blood ink. It's blood
Various
colored.
types of
Blood
blood.
re-chemically altered to be able to go into a fountain pen and clot after writing.
But it's all voluntarily donated, so it's technically vegan
Well,
blood.
in the Inquisition, that's very important. Like, you don't need to use your own blood. We have this. It's fine.
Like, realistically, there are enough volunteers for various blood sacrifices and stuff like that that products are easily creatable. Demons are nothing if not capitalistic.
If you need money in Northbeach, there are vampires. There's all kinds of people who want your blood, and you can give your blood legally or illegally. But anyway, you go into this office for the first time,
And standing on the chair of the secretary's desk, which is already covered in about a ream of paperwork, is a tall, kind of hunched Dracula parrot.
Yes.
And it stares at you for a while and says, Ratatosker had to go back to the tree.
God.
So your mother sent me.
Really?
Really?
What did I do to deserve this?
You came under attack by a widow.
Oh, so what does Mother have to say about the widow?
That's not why your flying squirrel went home. But that's why when it did, she sent me instead. Someone with a little more up top.
Well, you do have a little bit more up top than a squirrel, but that's not necessarily saying much. So, tell me, what did my mother have to say about the widow before she sent you here?
The widow brings battles and not punches, and if the time comes for you, that you're going to have to be smart and not strong, and that you're going to need someone to tell you when to be smart, not strong.
And who's that going to be?
Me.
A parrot.
I'm your new familiar. You wondered where the squirrel went. He went back to the life tree to tell him about the bee.
Bee?
The bee. The queen.
I see. Well,
you gotta talk to her.
The queen bee?
The queen bee.
The literal queen bee, not a figurative queen bee?
Don't you hate when someone tells you you'll know it when you see it?
Yes, I absolutely do. It sounds a lot like my mother. How much time have you been spending with her?
We live pretty long, but, not as long as you. Like about 605, 610 years. Running errands and shit, but, it was a good gig, but she wanted me to come here and...
Did you guys hear that? Just exploded outside my window. Okay.
I didn't hear
something.
I thought you would hit your desk.
No, my next door neighbor is actually lighting fireworks directly under my window right now. Thank you.
Awesome.
Love it. Just a foreshadowing of what's to come, I see. Anything else?
You got a lot of paperwork here. I'm taking care of most of it.
Wait, you actually are a useful gift from my mother. What do I owe you in exchange?
You getting killed serves your mother nothing. In order for you to accept anything from her, you have to like it. For you to like it, it has to be useful, and it has to be cool.
Nothing drives my mother crazier than the fact that I will not consent to her little games.
Not now.
Not ever. I need to go tell...
That depends on if your reality survives the widow.
Just remember Rexis is on his way.
If that happens, will you want to go sideways and find one that's not destroyed yet? That's fine with me,
To it, but I'd like to keep my friends alive, if that's at all possible.
Is that a standing order?
To keep my friends alive, yes, absolutely. Especially.
A pen lifts itself up off the desk and starts scratching on the page. He looks at it. He's clearly using your telekinesis. It looks like he's been doing this kind of for a while. He's been signing things that...
Make sure you shut up.
He seems to know...
Cut his damn fingernails if you have to.
What to sign and what to stamp. Get this the fuck off my desk. Like there's one of those big rubber administrative stamps with the arcane mark hologram for like cards and stuff. You see like a pile of canceled cards from people that got exiled from Northbeach.
Anything for any crimes of interest?
Yeah.
Oh.
They're trying a case of degralancy today.
Here?
Yeah, here.
On this vessel?
Degralancy. You have a degralance on this ship.
Oh my god, I can't wait to tell Mom. No, I'm not gonna tell Mom.
Degralant.
I'm not gonna tell Mom. I'm not gonna tell Mom. But I am gonna... Where's Rexis? Oh my god, Rexis has to hear this.
So there's a knocking on the outside of your door.
He's here! I don't even explain how or why I know that. I just run to the door.
No, you gesture to the door and it opens.
Ah, sweet.
Definitely.
Even better.
You just kind of flick your fingers and the door like bangs open because you're so powerful. Like, oops, sorry.
Well, that's
Might be.
weird. When did you get that desk? Is
I
huge.
know, right? It's probably from Mom, so I should probably send it back, but it's gorgeous, so I'm gonna keep it.
Oh, no, the office furniture's from the office. The Inquisition sent the desk. Oh, yeah.
Oh, the big boss must be happy with me this
You're
week.
Inquisitor General. This is the posting of, like, an afterlife.
Okay, but like this is a bureaucracy and bullshit. Like they try to save money if at all possible. Like this actually looked like it was made from a real tree, not like a magically created tree.
They probably seized it from someone.
If I recall. I wonder if there's still drugs in it.
I don't. I checked it. There was some. I found some.
Good man. Good man.
I found some spell components, but they were illegal, so I put them in I put them in an evidence bag and then put them in the drawer. Like anything illegal, you can have it if it's in an evidence bag. That's what's great.
So, Eurus, I've been kind of busy.
Yes.
I took care of the Hathrick issue. I think it's going to work out to everybody's benefit. I've taken him on as an agent underneath of our operation. I took the purview to drop the charges against him since Gillivanter was corrupt. But now he works directly for us. Also, one more thing I found out that kind of concerns me is somehow Broden found out about Highhand. I don't know.
How?
It concerns me that our reports are making it back to him. It's not me. I haven't spoken to him.
Out of character. It is very funny when one person says, there must be a mole, and then another person says, it's not me.
The Dracula parrot writes, "It's not REXIS" in really big letters on a piece of paper and just sets the pen aside.
Helpful.
Underlines it twice.
When did you get that?
Mother
Excuse me.
sent
I have a
me-
name.
What is your name, actually? I'm very rude, and
has a
I've forgotten
name?
to ask. They are sentient and sapient, in fact.
Pardon my failure to introduce myself. I probably should have said it up front. I am Docent Orlock.
Docent Orlock.
Docent. Docent is a rank, not a name. My name is Orlock.
Orlock. It's nice to meet you. I'm
It's
Rexis.
good to meet you.
Just Rexis. No need to call me agent.
That's another. The other name for the Dorset is the Counter.
So,
But I'm taking care of paperwork for the Inquisition on this
Nice.
boat now. And it didn't have a parrot before, which is a terrible dereliction.
Eurus, I also suspended the rest of Gillimanter's damn it group. And I'm having Hathrick look into bringing me dossiers on whoever might have, well, other people had to know about the operation of his size. I'm going to try and put him in charge of the task force as we've got more important things to handle right now.
Do we fully trust his intent? With reports of a mole, I do admit that I have some concerns. I understand that his actions were apparently in self-defense, however, I just worry if there should be some
Well,
oversight.
unfortunately, that's my job.
Harker doesn't have a choice but to obey you.
I'm the oversight.
Right now, though, you should probably get out there because court's about to start.
Degralancy today! There's a Degralint! We get to try a Degralint!
Can somebody explain that?
What?
I have no idea what that is.
It's a sensitive topic. Do you head up to the deck for court, or do you, like, make sure to do something, like... You can leave Orlock to do his thing, or you can make him come with you.
I'm gonna make him come with me because I don't know him yet and I kind of want to get a vibe for how he is as a familiar companion, whatevs.
He asks you to carry some stationery for him,
Fair enough.
and he hops onto your shoulder. He is about 1.5 feet tall.
I gotta give me one of these things.
I hope he fits with my wings.
You've seen what Dracula parrots look like, right?
Oh yeah, they're badass.
It's a real thing.
They're basically black cockatoos with red faces and black and
God.
red tongues. Yeah, they're cool
Yeah.
as shit.
Awesome.
They're
Yeah.
cool as shit. And they have like no feathers on their heads, so they kind of look like vultures.
Yeah, they kind of look badass.
Oh crap!
Ninja parrots. Yeah, her focus as a witch is death, and her mother's purview is necromancy, and
Pretty funny that my focus is
Yeah.
death, considering I'm a
Right.
pacifist.
her
It's the
familiar.
perfect familiar for me, basically.
When we made her character the first time, we went with the flying squirrel because it was cool statistically, and we said, "Oh, that's Ratatoskr."
And I love Squirrel.
Yeah,
I love
and
Squirrel Girl too.
That's Ratatoskr is a figure in Norse lore, and it's a flying squirrel that carries messages between a dragon and like a dragon that lives on the life tree and some other inhabitant of the life tree. And he carries the insults between them in an argument.
Yeah, my beliefs are a little weird. Just leave it be.
Yeah, so he actually went back off to do that and to tell them about the bee.
Is the judge actually around now? Are we going to court proper?
Kristen, I think, is on. Kristen, you on? She's muted.
Yeah, I've been on. I keep it muted because there's a lovely dog here who's as sweet as can be, but he's got PTSD and he won't stop whining.
Blowing things
But I
up.
love
Aw.
Skittles.
Well, maybe I'll have to give the party a dog to
Let's go.
explain it.
Well, that's why I keep my mic on mute. I've been here
There's a
since
drug
about
dog in the courtroom.
9:30.
Well, how about this? Let's take our break now.
Next time on the Gavel, the hammer comes down on degralancy, and someone is on trial for saying a really bad word. Then Sable's Most Wanted stands trial for a litany of transgressions. You can support our Patreon at Montreso Media, and you can badger us about our understanding of Pathfinder rules on Twitter at We Are NPCs. The Northbeach Police Commission and Montreso Media do not condone degralancy or any degradant behaviour.